Assalamu alaikum, and I wish you a very good day, Ms. Misbah Naqvi. You have our sincere gratitude for taking a few precious minutes out of your busy schedule to speak with us. For those members of our distinguished audience who are unaware of Ms. Misbah's identity, she is ranked amongst the top global finance enthusiasts with over 2 decades of experience in global macros, with highly intricate knowledge of emerging markets, development, fintech, entrepreneurship, and impact investing. Your contributions and portfolio are most certainly praiseworthy, ma'am. Today, the purpose of this interview is to shed some light on your achievements and what you have contributed to the realms of finance. There is no doubt that you are indeed a pioneer when it comes to social entrepreneurship and impact investing. So let's just get right into it. Ms. Misbah, would you please introduce yourself and your journey to being one of Pakistan's most successful serial entrepreneurs with remarkable inventive breakthroughs and in-depth understanding of your field? Additionally, tell us about your success with i2i.
Thank you so much, Sen, and the Park Launch team. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really grateful that you're giving me a chance to share a bit of my story. As you said, my name is Misbah. I'm one of the founders and co-general partners at i2i Ventures. We are an early stage fund. We invest in early stage enterprises focused on Pakistan. And I think along with my partner Kulsoom, who founded one of Pakistan's earliest startup accelerators, we've been working in the market now for a decade, and even though our fund is only a few years old now. So in terms of background, I grew up in Pakistan. My father was in the Navy, so mostly Pakistan-based. I also did my college and university over here. I went to IBA. So I'm definitely a homegrown Pakistani in terms of the education, my education background is concerned. I started my career with corporate banking. I worked with Citibank for a few years, realized I didn't want to be a banker, moved out of that into an impact investing role with Acumen, which was setting up in Pakistan in 2006. Moved with them to New York, and then also worked for a fintech startup myself. So that was kind of my first-hand exposure to the startup life. Also was building in Pakistan, but other emerging markets. So got a sense of how hard it is for founders to build in markets like ours and others globally. And I joined Kulsoom to set up i2i Ventures now 3 years ago. And I already have explained what the fund does. So I myself am not a serial entrepreneur. This is the first time I'm doing my own thing, but I was employee number 2 in the startup. So very, very early days, got to see firsthand. And I think that does help in how I look at startups when we're looking at investing in them. I've also been on the advisory board for Invest to Innovate, which is our sister entity, which has been an ecosystem builder for the last decade. And so in that context, I've been working with startups and seeing what's happening in the startup space in Pakistan for the last decade. So that's a bit about my background. So been in the finance space, but all at different sides of the table.
Sincerity demands that we acknowledge the value of the advances you've single-handedly brought to the sector in early-stage businesses, as well as the exceptional expertise you've gathered over the years. If we consider the industry to be Mount Everest, you have certainly demonstrated nothing but a pinnacle of excellence and have undoubtedly reached the summit and distinguished yourself as a prolific enthusiast in the realms of global business. Considering what you have done to support the prosperity of the industry, could you shed some light on your sentiments?
I think just having a vantage point where we've seen those of us that started our funds a few years ago, and there are many peers in the space in Pakistan that have come around the same time as i2i Ventures did. We all kind of realized that we were building the road ahead of us as we went along, right? A lot of this was uncharted territory, even though there had been other incubators and accelerators in the market before the last few years, even though startups had been started in Pakistan before the last few years. Investors had been investing in Pakistan before the last few years. I think what COVID did and what the global focus on venture capital did was it brought attention to this opportunity in Pakistan that had been untapped to quite a lot. I think from my vantage point, what I've seen is this acknowledgement that Pakistan represents. I think I've seen the opportunity to be good investors and value-based investors. We are not an impact investor per se. We are a fully commercial fund. And yet we believe that while making good commercial bets, we can actually have long-lasting impact in Pakistan. And I know that all of our peers also, by pushing the boundaries on venture capital and supporting good entrepreneurs, good founders, are actually helping bring change to the country. So I think from my vantage point, I've seen a sea change in the last few years. Of course, last year, Pakistani startups raised 5 times what they raised the year before that. So there was definitely a lot of attention that was coming here, and not just because of Pakistan, it was happening all over the world. But I think foreign investors finally realized what an opportunity Pakistan represents. I think for those of us that have worked here and built here for most of our careers, we know that opportunity exists. We've always known it has been there, but I think a lot of factors came together to help us all leverage that and catalyze it. So I think where we stand today is that there's been an acknowledgement of what the Pakistan startup space represents. There's been a lot of initiatives, Park Launch being one of them, that have brought attention to the space in Pakistan. Investors are looking at Pakistan seriously. Founders are looking at startups as an opportunity for them, not just a corporate job that they may, go for. So I think that definitely a lot has happened. The government has also been, for the large part, pretty focused on bringing policies that are conducive to startups. So I think a lot has happened in the last few years, and we're hoping for this momentum to continue.
Ms. Misbah, I see you're probably well aware of Pakistan's rapid surge and appearance as an emerging digital hub, as well as how Park Launch has provided an important forum for connecting entrepreneurs with financiers. What do you think about Park Launch's extraordinary dedication to Pakistan's IT industry? And what possibilities do you see for the growth of the tech industry in Pakistan?
Yeah, I think I'm glad you asked that, because I think Ali, Fahad and the team at Park Launch have done a great job in the last few years of bringing a lot of attention to Pakistan in several different ways. I think what started out as an interest group of a few friends and the Pakistan startup scene has now grown to a thriving community, not only one where investors like us can potentially meet startups and interact with them, but also to each other. People in Pakistan are engaging with people outside the country and talking about potential deals. Startups founders Pakistan are engaging with Pakistani founders outside the country. So I would say full marks to Park Launch for really not only building a thriving community where people really come to interact and engage, but also making a difference in terms of how Pakistan is seen more broadly and actually having a longer term impact in that context.
So we see that several new small and medium businesses are arising with high potential for subsequent expansion and are now traveling to Park Launch. What suggestions would you make for them that might be helpful?
I think Park Launch, especially the Unconference, is a great opportunity to interact with other founders and interact with investors. So for people that are attending and that are coming here, that are running businesses, I think one would be open, listen to others, engage with others. I think if you put your story out there, you'll get good feedback. And I think you should come with an open mind, ask for feedback. I remember I was there when we had an event earlier this year in Silicon Valley, and a number of things that I heard being repeated were around how people felt it was great to meet investors and founders from other markets, how people felt they got great feedback on products and business models. They made friends. So I think come with an open mind, be honest and open, but also share what you're doing. You might find that people are interested in what you're doing, and they could learn from you and you could learn from them. So aside from that, I do think it's an investors.
Well, Ms. Misbah, thank you so much for these valuable insights into your life and your achievements. This has truly been an insightful voyage. I'm certain that the suggestions you put forth will certainly be acting as a guiding light for us and for prospective market entrants. Looking forward to see you at the Unconference 2023.